The following program is a SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
Good evening and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Travis Mandela, joined by Matt Forney and Kara Bodnar. Kara, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
So we are going to start off tonight talking about men's basketball. Last night they had a big game against Wesley at home at Mags. They would get off to a hot start. Savercool would kick it out to Rocky Harris and put Salisbury up 5-0 next possession. Whitmer kicks it out to Harris on the other side, making it an 8-2 ball game. Later in the half, Adrian Strachan would give it up to Chad Barsikowski, and he would extend Salisbury's lead to 11. Wesley not going away, though. They would cut back and cut back and cut back in the second half. That right there got it within 4 points, and then right here, once again, George Cook gets the Wolverines within 2. Salisbury would get the lead back up to 9, and really, that would be it. Salisbury just would not let Wesley pull away. They would hold on for the 68-62 victory, and with that win, they have clinched their spot in the CAC tournament. Salisbury, 17-5 record, 10-5 in the CAC. How big of a win is that to clinch their CAC spot? It's really looking like CAC championship or their season's over. Wouldn't you think?
Yes, because they're outside of conference play. Not too impressive. Yes, they beat Virginia Wesleyan when they were the home opener, number 2 in the country at the time. But at the same time, how good is the CAC in regards to Division III basketball? Is it the equivalent of the ACC, or is it the equivalent of a mid-major conference where one team gets a bid compared to multiple teams?
Exactly.
Definitely going off of that, having their second place in the CACs is huge because if they want to go on to NCAAs and have regionals and all of that, they definitely either need to win it or they're getting that at-large bid.
Yeah, when you think of if they can get an at-large bid, 17-5 record, like I mentioned. The regional rankings, the first regional rankings of the year, got released today or earlier this week. Salisbury ranked 3rd in the Mid-Atlantic, behind Christopher Newport, conference opponent, and some other school that I can't think of off the top of my head. But they're 1-2 against ranked opponents this year. The win coming, like you said, against the second-ranked team in the country, Virginia Wesleyan, at home. Both losses come against Christopher Newport. So, 2 conference games against ranked opponents, both losses.
Speaking of the 2 losses, it's not like they got blown out both games. They had the lead at home the other night against Christopher Newport and just could not maintain it. There were moments where they just, couldn't rebound the ball, especially that last possession where the Christopher Newport player hit 2 free throws to send it to overtime. And then towards the end, they just, couldn't get the shot that they wanted. And I'm sure they're upset about that loss because they had that game. They were up 11 or 13 points in that first half. So they got to just learn to close out games because they're a talented team. They can make a run. They just got to, win the CAC tournament to get there.
Definitely, I would agree with that. I mean, it's just like deciding on which team shows up, really. I mean, the boys have the opportunity to do it, make that run. It's just banking on what they want to do, win, and just pushing forward instead of kind of almost like lacking off a little bit and just kind of keep persevering it.
Yeah, interesting of note, like how you mentioned what kind of conference is the CAC. Last year, Salisbury was the only team out of the CAC in the NCAA tournament, and that's because they got the automatic bid. They were the 2nd seed out of the regular season, 21-8 record. St. Mary's was the conference regular season champion with a record of 20-5, 16-2 in conference, and they were left out. So if you look at St. Mary's, 5 losses last year, regular season conference champions, left out of the field of 62, I believe it is, for Division III. Salisbury right now, 17-5. 3 regular season games left, plus the CAC tournament. It is kind of looking that they're going to have to pull off some magic like they did a year ago.
And if Jeter plays the way he did last night on the defensive end, it's going to help with the defense as they are number 2 right now in the country for most points allowed per game, which is remarkable. Going into this year, we had heard that their defense was good. Didn't know it was this good. You got to give it credit to the new coach, Andy Sachs, and I love how he presses the ball on defense. They run press all the time. I love it. It creates easy points for them. Turnovers leads the points, like I said. So, I think if they can win out here and go into the CAC tournament on this hot streak, watch out because they can win at Newport.
Yeah, if you look at their final 3 regular season games, on the 13th, on Saturday, they head to Southern Virginia, who they beat earlier this year by 15. Then next Wednesday, they head to Marymount, who they beat by 7 earlier this year. And then they close out the regular season at home next Saturday against Frostburg State, who earlier this year they beat 73-31. So really, 3 teams Salisbury's already beaten, 2 of them at home, 1 of them on the road. If they can finish the regular season 20-5, head into the CAC tournament, they get the first round bye. I would think that they go to Christopher Newport, or maybe even Christopher Newport gets upset and they have a home game on the championship day. But I think that they'll be a serious threat if they get to the championship. Keep it close with Newport. I think there'll be something to consider for the NCAA tournament.
They got to have the marbles fall their way where other teams win outright and teams that they need to lose, or they need to get that marquee win somewhere down the line.
I would agree. I mean, with Christopher Newport, all of our sports teams here really do have that rival with them, and it's always a mental game going down there to play on their turf instead of necessarily playing here. But they do have they have what they need to beat them. They just need to get that push to beat them.
And lastly, with basketball, they have, in this week's poll, the top 25, they had 5 top 25 votes. So they are still one of the top 30, top 35 teams in Division III. So it's not like they're at that far out of being a possibility. But now we're going to switch to some spring sports where weather just doesn't want us to start. Start with baseball. They've had their first 3 games postponed. They were supposed to play Gwinnett Mercy last weekend. That got postponed. They were supposed to play Virginia Wesleyan this weekend. Both of them got postponed. But finally, on Wednesday, they'll have their season opener at home against Virginia Wesleyan. And, they were predicted CAC favorites once again, pretty close with Marymount and Frostburg State. But what do you think? What do you think of baseball this year? They're losing a lot, but they also have a lot of veterans returning.
I think the experience is going to help them definitely, and I think Coach Broham is going to do a fantastic job in the second year. He's got a year under his belt. He knows what it's like to get to that big stage. They've tasted it the last 2 years. Sadly, they're 0-4 in the College World Series, haven't won a game in the last 2 appearances, so I'm sure those players want to kind of get that monkey off their back and prove that they're not here just as a participant, that they want to stir the pot and make some noise and get there. I'm excited for the season to see what they can do as being favorites in last year's Frostburg State won the conference, so I'm sure they will also want to go out with the CAC championship.
I definitely agree. The baseball team this year, they're looking really strong. I mean, they did graduate a lot of seniors who had a very positive leadership role with the boys, but all of the younger ones that are coming back, they're strong. All the new ones that are coming in and the transfers, all the talent that they have, it's there. All the cards are in the right place. And I mean, Broham going into last season, they weren't sure how they would adjust with the new coach and all, but they seemed to do fine. They went back to the World Series, so I know all of the boys are excited to get the season going.
Yeah, if you look at on the pitching mound, Brett Kalachi, Dan Fine, both graduated last year. Those 2 pitchers accounted for 138 of the 356 innings pitched, which was roughly 39%. They also accounted for 94 strikeouts of 314 for the team, roughly 30%. But they also have senior Connor Shockley, junior Ryan Dyes. They have, Jeff Foster. They have talent coming back, and like we mentioned before, it helps that last year they were so dominant. They won so many games, just blowing these opponents out of the water, that the younger guys got experience, got valuable experience. They got multiple at bats. They got innings pitched. So do you think that's going to help them a little bit this year as a group graduates and the time for the next ones to come in?
I would definitely think so with that. I mean, with the experience that they have, they know how to perform. They know what they need to do. They know in what situation where to go, who to go to. I definitely believe that with all of that experience, that's only going to benefit them with going into this season.
And I think going off of that, it also makes them hungry to play now because they've got the taste of playing at the Division III level in a successful program like Salisbury. And, they're going to be ready, no doubt.
And they also have new catcher Austin Barefoot, graduated now, Tom Labriola. But he's no stranger to playing time. Last year he got a lot of playing time, whether it be behind the plate, DH. Really, he played, and he's going to be used to it. So now, other spring sport. We're really good at every spring sport, but men's lacrosse, they are already, they got a game under their belt. They beat Hampton Sydney 12-7 at a neutral field last week. And next Wednesday, this game was supposed to be once again Saturday, but the weather. This Wednesday coming up, they host Lynchburg. Lynchburg, number 2 team in the country, and I saw a grimace on your face. Let me explain why that's a grimace on your face. Last year, on February 14th, second game of the season, Lynchburg beat Salisbury 12-7. Then fast forward, NCAA quarterfinal at Lynchburg, Salisbury loses 13-11. 5 losses for Salisbury last year, 2 of them to Lynchburg, and that quarterfinal loss was the first time Salisbury has failed to reach the Final Four since 2009. So, taking all that in, Salisbury hosting second-ranked team in the country as the number 5 ranked team, home opener, really dying to get out there and show Lynchburg that, it's not going to happen again. What do you think is going to happen?
I think those players have that bad taste in their mouth from last year's loss. Certainly us as fans have that reminder that that's how the season went last year. I think it's going to be different. Those players that got to play also are experienced. And this schedule doesn't get any easier. They play 7 other top 25 teams. They go on the road against Stevenson. And they play other top schools. And it's a true test, an early test for them to see where they stand because the road doesn't get easier. It only gets harder.
No, definitely. And with who they have coming back, all of the ones that did get that experience to play against them and know the taste of losing and then getting to the Final Four, a lot of the seniors are looking down to the younger ones and kind of giving their expression of this is what you can have. You can have a championship, you can have a ring. We just got to put forward everything and go for it. And I know a lot of them want to have that win against Lynchburg strictly to get that redemption. So.
And it's nice that Carson Klum is only a junior this year. He led Division III in scoring last year with 53 goals. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, and if you look at who they have back, they have new goaltenders, but that's a thing that's just going to have to work itself out. If you look at offense, so many recognizable names back. Blandino, Burton, Cirillo, Rotman, Kalama. Those are all house names to Salisbury lacrosse. Ever since they've been here, and they're really itching to get out there and bring home a national championship because it's been 4 years since Salisbury won a national championship in lacrosse. That's like a decade.
So, and they also lost a big piece of their defense in Newt Krause, who is arguably one of the best defenders to ever come to the school to play lacrosse. And it's going to see who's going to step up in that defensive leadership role. Because we're also known for defense. Being a Division III lacrosse school is who's going to anchor the defense now.
And if you look at the game against Hampton Sydney, they got out to a hot start. First quarter, just dominated. Second, third, and fourth, they kind of laid back, and it was pretty much even for the rest of the game. But I found this interesting. I was looking back at the archives of Salisbury's schedules. They play Lynchburg every year, switch on and off. Lynchburg has never won at Salisbury. They've been coming to Siegel Stadium every single even year since 2006, and they haven't won.
Hopefully that works out for this year.
Yeah, it's one thing. It's one thing you want to look forward to. So what do you guys think? What do you guys just give a prediction of what do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be a close game, honestly. I really believe it could go either way, but I know our boys are determined to get that redemption, so I really think they could pull it off.
I think Kalama's the difference, and they win by a goal, 10-9, 9-8, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think Salisbury's going to come out on top. They're going to show in their home stadium, in the shadows of what later on this spring will be the brand new Siegel Stadium. They're going to want to show that it's their place, and they're not going to let Lynchburg come and win. But that's all the time that we have this week for Sports Night. For Kara Bodnar and Matt Forney, I'm Travis Nardella. Have a great weekend, everybody.